Moving to a new city can be an exciting yet overwhelming experience. And this is equally true if you're thinking about relocating to a city like Surrey BC. While there's so many things to love about this city, there's also some downsides that you need to be made aware of before you decide to make the move. That's why in this video, I'll be discussing the 5 worst things about living in Surrey BC. What's going on, guys? Alex Dunbar, your favorite local realtor, back again with another video. I was born and raised in the city of Surrey and have lived here for over the past 30 years. So I like to think that I know a thing or two about the city. And that's why I love making these educational videos about Surrey, Langley, and the rest of the Fraser Valley, as well as the BC and Canadian real estate market in order to educate you and keep you up to date. So after you're done this video, make sure you check out another one on my channel. But I think it's about time that we dive right into today's video. So the first downside is the limited public transportation. The limited options in Surrey can be a real inconvenience for its residents, especially those without cars. Not only are the buses infrequent and unreliable, but they're also overcrowded during peak hours, making for an uncomfortable commute. This can be especially problematic for those who rely on public transportation on a daily basis to get to work or school. The reason being is that if you miss one of your buses or one of your connections, this can mess up your entire schedule for the day. Additionally, many of the bus routes aren't necessarily very well connected depending on the part of the city you're in and the part of the city you're going to. This means it can take longer to get from one place to another, which can be frustrating, especially for living on the outskirts of the city and need to commute to the downtown area for work on a daily basis. Additionally, Surrey lacks a rapid transit system, at least for the most part, and this could be a major drawback for people who are looking for a more reliable and efficient way to take transportation. The primary rapid transit service in Greater Vancouver is the Skytrain, which does reach the most northwestern point of Surrey, but this isn't exactly convenient if you're not living near the city centre. However, they are currently extending the Skytrain line up Fraser Highway through Fleetwood and Cloverdale and into Langley City. This is still a little ways out as it's expected to be complete in the year 2028, but it is going to be an amazing addition for Surrey residents once it's finished. Moving on to our next point, it's the high cost of living. Like the rest of the Lower Mainland, the cost of living in Surrey is another major downside for its residents. The city is one of the most expensive in all of BC, and the cost of housing can be especially steep. Currently, the average price of a detached home in Surrey is over $1.6 million. Townhomes come in at over $800,000, and your average condos come in at over $550,000. Not to mention, the cost of renting is also quite high, with the average cost of a 1-bed at nearly $2,000 a month, a 2-bed at nearly $2,600 a month, and a 3-bed at over $3,300 a month. Additionally, the cost of groceries, utilities, and other necessities have risen dramatically in the past number of years. This makes it extremely difficult for the residents of Surrey, especially for those who are on a fixed income or have a lower salary. However, when compared to its neighboring cities and specifically Vancouver, housing comes at a significant discount. And whether you're looking to buy or rent, you're going to save about 30% on average depending on the property type. So it's really just a matter of perspective. Additionally, no matter where you are in BC, everything's become way more expensive, with gas prices in the Lower Mainland currently hovering around $2 per litre. On top of that, you've got grocery prices, childcare, and pretty much everything else you can think of going through the roof. So in reality, it's tough to escape it no matter where you go. And while it is expensive, it could be worse. Now moving on to our next point, it's the traffic. Traffic congestion is a common problem in any big city, and Surrey is no exception. The city's roads can become incredibly congested during peak hours, making it difficult to get around. This can be especially frustrating if you're commuting to work or school on a daily basis, or if you're trying to run errands. The traffic can also be unpredictable, with sudden delays and accidents causing further delays, especially if you have to leave the city and go over any of the bridges. This can make it difficult to plan your day and can add a lot of stress to your daily routine. Traffic isn't only an issue when traveling to and from Surrey, but also trying to get across the city as well. Whether you're headed from north to south or east to west, it can really be quite the trek. Keep in mind, Surrey spans 317 square kilometers, making it the 3rd largest city in all of BC. It takes about 30 minutes to get from Fraser Heights to the Pacific Douglas neighborhood with no traffic, and roughly the same when heading west to east from Newton to Clayton. However, the city is continuously making efforts to improve this by adding and widening roads, as well as improving rapid transit as previously mentioned. Also, if you're able to work from home, whether that's part-time or full-time, this can make a huge difference. Additionally, if you do have some flexibility around the times that you can travel during the day, you can avoid the traffic for the most part. Keep in mind, the rest of the Lower Mainland is no different. You're gonna run into traffic everywhere you go. So unless you plan to make the switch over to small town living, you're just gonna have to get used to it. Moving on to point number 4, it's the crime rates. Surrey has been known to have an increase in crime rates in past years. However, both violent crime and property crime are both down pretty significantly, especially in the last year. While the city is generally safe, there's certain areas that have higher crime rates than others. Property crime in particular is a problem in some neighborhoods. This can make it difficult to feel safe in your own home, especially if you're living in a high crime area. Additionally, the city has also seen an increase in gang-related crime in recent years, which can be concerning for its residents. This can make people feel unsafe in their own community, which can lead to a decreased sense of community as a whole and a negative impact on the overall quality of life. However, much of the gang-related crime does not put the public in danger. It's generally gang-on-gang crime, which is very targeted. Not to say this is a good thing per se, but at least it should give you some peace of mind. It's not like these gangsters are running around the streets wildly and shooting at random people. Also, I do want to stress that the majority of the crime here occurs in a few select neighborhoods. Remember, as I already said, Surrey is a massive city, and like any other major city, you're gonna get some bad to go along with the good. So if you avoid the problem neighborhoods and stick to the good ones, you're gonna be just fine. And if you're not familiar with where these are and want to learn more about them before deciding if you're gonna make a move to Surrey and where you want to be, you can always reach out and I'd be happy to point you in the right direction. And moving on to point number 5, it's the public perception. Surrey has historically grappled with a range of public perceptions. Often overshadowed by its popular neighbor, Vancouver, Surrey sometimes has been characterized by outsiders as being an area riddled with crime, especially in discussions about drug-related activity and gang-related activity. And these were major issues in the 80s, 90s, and even the early 2000s. But things have drastically changed. Not to say that it's completely gone, but it's come a long way from where it used to be. So to keep this same perspective and mentality is short-sighted and doesn't really tell the whole story. Those of us who have actually taken the time to get to know the city over a number of years know that it has so much to offer. It's got a diverse mix of cultures, plenty of community events, amazing food and restaurants, and a great art scene. Surrey is a big city that's growing rapidly. It's home to a huge number of parks, a number of respected schools, and there's always new businesses popping up in the area. With significant investments in infrastructure, public amenities, and community programs, Surrey has been actively working to reshape its narrative and bolster its reputation as a prime destination for families, businesses, and tourists alike. As with many cities, the public perception of Surrey is multifaceted, influenced by both historical events and current developments. As someone who's lived here for over 30 years, I've seen these changes take place over time, and I can confidently tell you that the city has come a long way from where it used to be. From being a 12-year-old kid playing baseball for Wally Little League and being told by my parents not to chase foul balls into the bushes for the fear of stepping on a needle, to walking home after midnight from high school parties, to helping people buy homes here. I've really seen it all. What I find is that most people who talk negatively about the city have spent very little time here and have often only visited the worst neighborhoods. So I don't blame them for having these views. I would feel the exact same if I had only visited the worst parts of Vancouver, such as East Hastings. However, that doesn't make those views any less ignorant. So the next time you hear someone make a snide remark about Surrey, don't take it at face value. Do a little bit of research for yourself before taking it as gospel. And that's about gonna do it for today's video. So if you did get any sort of value whatsoever, all I ask is that you hit that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to see more videos just like this one, I suggest you consider subscribing to our channel. If you do have any questions, leave them down below and I'll be sure to get back to you whenever I get a chance. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. What is your least favorite part of Surrey? Leave it down below. And lastly, if you are considering buying or selling in Surrey or any of the surrounding cities for that matter, or you just want to talk about real estate, you can scroll down and click the first link in the description to book a call with me at a time that works best for you. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you check out another video on our channel before you head out of here, and we'll see you in the next video.